Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
There's a big difference between your feed and being fed. When you look online at the stuff that's coming down the pike, that's all curated by an algorithm, which we very likely well know. But there are people in the mix that generate some of that content, and typically you would refer to those as your community. When you go to a lodge meeting or a community gathering of some sort, a parade or what have you, it's important to remember that those are the real community, the people around you and close to you, even in an online space where they may not be geographically close to you, but they're familiar with you and your plight and your challenges, your questions, comments, concerns, cares, etc., etc. They know you or enough about you in the context of the sort of special interest you share that they would be remiss if you were unavailable. If you got sick, they would note your absence and comment. When we start talking about community development, it's important to understand when that can mean community in all of the various ways and places where community erupts or emerges or things like that. So when you are out and about trying to curate or cultivate a sense of community involvement and engagement, it's helpful to remember a couple of kind of key things. First, almost every community that you're a part of is a decision. You can participate or not participate in a community. There is no one holding you to it. So if you find that the nature of a community is not productive for your mental health, don't participate. Now, I know that's difficult in some cases. Let's say you live in an area and the community that you're living in that area is not ideal. Moving may not be an immediate option. But in general, the nature of how you participate in a community or participation at all is discretionary. When you start to move into the communities of choice, those places where you want to engage, and the internet offers a ton of great stuff here. The communities of special interests, communities of hobbies, communities where you are commonly sharing a similar kind of hardship. These are all great sort of places to meaningfully participate. And so when you go out and participate, remember those engagements are almost identical to meeting people in real life. They're just like meeting your neighbor. The amount of sincerity and honesty and integrity and vulnerability you can bring to those engagements in the large moving pieces or kind of large moving concepts is productive. Now, that said, when you're participating online, there is risks. Those risks are significant. There are people out there, there are bad actors, there are folks that are participating or not participating in a way that's designed to, profit themselves and to the detriment of others. So, keep your discernment. At the same time, your communications and relationships online, as well as locally, will be best served by taking a one-to-one approach with the people you're participating with. When I go to my neighbor's house, I ask them how they're doing. I ask them if they need anything. The same thing is true. I don't presume my neighbor needs something a different neighbor needs. I don't presume that I know what's best for all of my neighbors all at once. The best choice when it comes to managing your focus in those conversations is to treat every interaction as an interaction with an individual. Community emerges from the collective sort of culture that happens during those interactions. So there's other aspects of community we can talk to, but for now, it's sufficient to say you're going to cultivate and grow any community that you participate in through one-to-one interactions with those people. Now, even when the communities assemble, so even if you had a online meetup or if you had a local meetup of a community, you're still only going to be able to talk to one person at a time. If you're doing a public address, that's not really what's going to help do things like relationship development. The relationship development and therefore the community development is going to emerge from the individual one-on-one interactions with the people in the room. And what that means is when you start to really cultivate community and try and drive performance in any organization, like your lodge, like your civics group, like any of the special interest groups you are participating in online, those one-to-one interactions are the key. Now, when you are in regular life, just like, inside your communities, out in regular life, there are very likely folks that you may not really get along well with. In regular life, you just kind of don't hang out with those people. Same thing's true in a community. You don't have to engage with everybody. You don't have to have those one-to-one relationships or conversations with every single member of the community. You can do that, with the people you like. And inside that, you're going to cultivate those relationships and strengthen the community. So the important sort of takeaway here with communities and the whole conversation around how do we participate in those is 1, it's volitional. 2, it's always about relationships. And 3, the last piece is it's the small acts of vulnerability. As you've seen in some of the episodes we've recorded, the small acts of vulnerability, the small acts of sharing and kindness between two individuals that strengthen those relationships. It's not grandiose, large donations to the community. It's not any one of those things. It's the individual interactions is where the community is meaningfully developed and grown. So find someone to help, see if you can cultivate that relationship and strengthen the communities around you. That's one of the things we're chartered to do in a sort of Masonic concept. So go out and engage the individuals in your communities and see what you can do.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.